Hey, so I'd like to introduce everyone to Kelly Weber today. Quick little background. I've done a little research here on Kelly. So I know you've been in the business about 14 years, Kelly, and residents of Bergen County your whole life, which is awesome, brought up your family. But the cool little fact I found out about you is that you're one of the top realtor in Ordell and that you
Yeah.
own that market. I've heard that when other realtors go into that market and hear there's an opportunity, they know that Kelly owns the market and they stay away. Is that true?
That is true. It is true. Yes, I have, I'm going to correct you on one thing. I've been doing it going on 21 years. I've been with
Beautiful.
Keller Williams for 14.
Okay.
And yeah, so I've been doing this a long time and it took me a long time to get here, and I do have a business partner that I took on within the last 4 years. So it's really been great. And we do own Oradell, which is nice.
That's a great story. And that's what we're looking to do here is like I'd love you to tell your story so that, we can just share this with others. So this is something unique when someone like you doing this a long time, you can look at like owning a market, tell us about your journey. How did you get here? What was kind of unique and how did you wind up owning this market?
So I started out as a buyer's agent for a very successful agent, again, 20 years ago. And I went into it just kind of doing it part time. My kids just went back into school. I was in sales prior and I wanted to do something where I was flexible. And for I'm going to say the first 3 years, I did everything for this agent. I worked every open house. I took every lead. And I absorbed as much as I possibly could. I learned everything. There was no job that was beneath me. I went to inspections. I sat in on seminars. I followed more successful agents because I wanted to be the best I could be in this business. And after about 3, 4 years, I ended up building up, the buyers that I had were now turning into sellers. And I decided to give it a shot and go out on my own. And that's how I built it up. At that time, I lived in a town called Dumont, and that area was saturated. And I moved to a town, Oradell, and I hired myself a marketing person. And they helped me grow my business and market share in Oradell, River Edge, and Emerson. But I started in Oradell. And it was year after year after year of reinvesting back into my business and building that business in this small town.
That's awesome. So what do you attribute the success to? Was it just like the constant plugging away where there were some things that you did that were like unique that let you really go in and own that town?
Well, I'll tell you, consistency is key. When I hired my marketing person, they said, you can't do something once in a while. You have to do it all the time. So I put together a marketing plan. And every month we sent something out. I was consistent anytime I had a property. We always did either a just listed or just sold or both. And again, just getting your name out there over and over again, people get to know who you are. I also got involved in my community, volunteered. My kids were in school at the time, so I volunteered in PTA, football boosters. I was very involved in that. My daughter played soccer and basketball. I got involved in that, and I just entrenched myself into the community. I also ended up becoming an SRES, which stands for Senior Real Estate Specialist designation. And I ended up focusing on the senior citizens because I felt they were taken advantage of. So I wanted somebody to be able to go out there and advocate for them that would be honest, trustworthy, and reliable. So
Yeah.
I did that as well.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. So talk about some of the challenges. Again, you talk about consistency. You hired the marketing person is awesome. You stayed with it, love the depth in the community. A lot of realtors talk about it, but really doing it as you've done, is you become the expert within your community, right? As you get involved in everything. But tell us about some of the challenges that you faced and how you overcame them.
So over the years, the market has literally gone like this. So my business partner now, who, by the way, is the marketing person that I hired years ago. He is now a business partner with me here today. He always talks about manage your peaks and your valleys will take care of themselves. And that's what I did. When I was up here, I always planned for down here. Again, staying consistent, cutting back when I had to. But if I couldn't have the money to be out there marketing myself, I was out there doing equity. I was out there myself. I was in person. I was visiting people. I'd show up at local events. I would do things throughout the town. I'd go door to door if I had to. I just stayed relevant. And here's the other thing, always giving out information, coming from a place of contribution. When the market, started to come down during COVID, nobody knew what was happening. I was out there talking to people and educating them via social media on what can be done. Let's stay calm. This is how our community and our county can help us. And that just turned into, my face was out there all the time talking to people, that when the market started to change, I naturally was a resource for people to come to.
Beautiful. Yeah, I love that. I mean, that is the whole, we've been talking about, stop selling, start helping.
Helping, right.
And when you're doing what you've done, that is, sharing your wisdom,
Right.
helping. Love the senior side to this. Then the sales come naturally when you're just authentic and you're really trying to help. And that's like your DNA versus the salesperson's DNA.
Hey, listen, we all love to make a sale, but for me during that time, I was more concerned with getting, I knew a lot of nurses and doctors and even our senior citizens that, were really compromised, couldn't go home to their families, needed resources. And, I got on the phone with the county, with local, our town government, the PBA. I mean, educating them on Facebook Live, and it really, coming from contribution is what I'm going to say, wanting to help everybody. So that, I feel, really catapulted me per se as a person, somebody who was trustworthy and reliable and honest. And I think people like to do business with someone they know is always going to do the right thing.
No, that's awesome. Talk to me about how then, you had these meetings. Were you at the same time getting, names, addresses, emails, cell phones? Like, what was happening that you were, great to share your wisdom, right, and share this information, but at the same time, right, you wanted to be able to get back to these people. They met you. So how did you do that?
Again, we all met on social media. I'll use, for example, there were senior citizens that were living alone, where family lived, out of state. They would contact me through social media. Hey, my mother's living by herself. Who can I get to go over there and do a check for me? Then I would get in touch with the police, or I'd get in touch with somebody on the council. And that brings me back to my business partner, Roger. He was my marketing person. And at that point, I've been saying to him for years, you need to sell real estate. You need to sell real estate. And him and I had a conversation at that point. And I said, listen, if you're going to do it, now is the time. And that's when he joined me. We joined forces, and the rest is history. We were able to be entrenched in the community. He is a councilman in town, so he has a lot of resources available to him. So it was just a natural progression for us to join forces, continue our marketing, but also help people at the same time.
Yeah, yeah, it's a great story, having your marketing person then become a licensed realtor and
it's been
start
great
to grow the business. Yeah, that's what 20 years in business can do for you, right?
Absolutely. And again, he was the one that taught me, you layer market. You have to be consistent. You have to, and everything just kind of came together at that point and I'm sure I'm not alone. Everybody thought the world was crashing at that time. And it just kind of brought everything we knew together in multiple industries, not just real estate, and things just positively evolved.
That's great. It's a great story. Tell me a little bit about like your database. And now that, someone like you that's doing this a long time, younger realtors are building their database, right? Every sale, every touch point, their sphere of influence and so forth. So tell me about that and how, you've built that, and like what percentage of business do you think you get from your database today?
So I'm going to start out by telling you, I would say about 75% of our business is referral, past clients, and database driven. Absolutely. But here's the thing. Everything was up here. Most realtors my age, this whole internet thing, and not that I'm that old, but I was so used to, I had a Rolodex, for crying out loud. I didn't really use a database, and everything was just in my head or on a spreadsheet that I would go use year after year. And we hired a company to come in and actually go through our paper, I should say, and go through our contacts on our phone, because whoever thought that was a database, and put everything together and formed a database. And now that database is invaluable. I mean, it's people, I can go back 20 years. I still have people that I sold to or knew 20 years ago that still call me today, because now the change in my business over the last, let's say, 8 years was database driven, was having everything in one place, and now being able to touch these people on a regular basis.
Yeah. Fabulous. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
you got through the hump, the tough part. Again, for other maybe younger realtors that might be watching this, that those first years, but as you're growing and you're building, like you
Yes.
said, 20 years, I talk to friends of mine. Some people don't move for
Right.
20, 30, 40 years. I was someone that, in 40 years, maybe moved 10, 12 times.
Right.
Right. So
Right.
it's those why you need to stay in touch with
In
your
touch with these
database like
people.
you did. You just don't know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm telling you, that is what I think, getting organized, because the younger generation, I mean, they're so used to using their phone and using computers and having that organized, where, my generation, we weren't. So that was a big, huge component that brought our team together and was able to, obviously a lot of it's automated, but it also gives you the opportunity to pick up the phone and call. I still believe in handwritten notes. I write handwritten notes every day out to my clients. If I see something on social media, a birthday or an anniversary or a promotion, I'll drop something in the mail. So I kind of do a mix of the new and the old.
That's great. That's great.
Who doesn't like getting mail still?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, postcards now are, you don't get enough of them, right? So now all of a sudden, when you do get mail,
Yes.
even bills, how many bills do you get when you're online and you're getting your bills, you're paying
Right.
things online. So it's way less mail. So yeah, mail does break through. It's kind of the omni-channel that, we talk about,
Yes.
right? It's trying to be in every place your, customer, your prospect might be.
Is
And if you can hit
correct.
them enough, they're gonna kind of come back to you. So now you're here. Like, what's next? Do you have a goal, like to grow to the next level, to bring on more agents, to just tell me
I
about what
do.
the plan is for the future?
So right now it's myself and Roger. We're business partners. I'll tell you how we split our business. I am a listing agent. I do nothing but list homes. Roger is a buyer's agent. He handles all the buyers to my listing. So a lot of times, you know, whose home I'm selling now has to go buy something. Anybody who calls in on one of my listings automatically goes to Roger. We separate our business out that way, and it has been phenomenal. And we both delineate, I represent you and he represents you. And it's always been very successful in doing that. We have 3 other buyers agents that are in production. I have a in-house listing coordinator, and we have a virtual assistant as well. We are looking to grow to Florida. I'm in the process of getting my Florida license and growing down there, because that's a natural progression too. During COVID, a lot of people from north were going south, including myself. So I'm doing a lot down there as well. And we're looking to pick up a few more agents up in this area too.
Beautiful, beautiful.
We also go, we're here in Bergen County. We're very localized, like you said earlier, Oradell. We do River Edge and Emerson and the other towns. But we also now started hitting down at the Jersey Shore area. We sold a couple of houses down in Lavalette, just outside of Long Beach Island, and Seaside Park. So we're looking to, bring an agent down that way as well.
Interesting. And have you been using marketing to get into those new areas, or is a lot of this like more naturally happening from your database?
Naturally happening. But now we've done a couple sales in the Lavalette area. So now we're going to start marketing down there, because we have the buyers from up here. We have people now who have bought down there who are they bought a smaller house, and they want to upgrade. So, and why not try to capitalize on that? Again, the natural progression is leaving here, going south to the Jersey Shore, or heading down to Florida.
Right. Beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. Now, this was great. Really appreciated your time.
This was wonderful. I hope I gave you enough information.
Yeah, yeah, I think it was all good stuff. And again, we're looking to share, I don't think any two realtors do things exactly the same way, right? You take the bits and pieces that work for you, whether it's in your market or your DNA, right? Some are door knockers. They love meeting
Right.
people, knocking on doors, leaving things. Others, love using social media. It's so many different ways, right, that you can build your business. So, of course, your story is fabulous and I think will resonate great with people.
And
And
I just want to add one more thing that, you said social media, and I can't believe I forgot to mention this. But another thing I did after bringing Roger on as my business partner, and again, him, handling our marketing still, we hired a social media person to dig into social media. So Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I mean, it has been huge, the social media presence, just getting out there, just having people see what we've listed, being out there myself, introducing a new property, Roger at an open house. It's amazing that people like to see that. So that has also grown the business.
beautiful, beautiful. And you become a technology expert, I'm
And
sure, running
yeah,
databases.
exactly. Well, kind of wink, wink. I do have somebody that helps me with it, but so that's where we are today. We have other good things for 2025 that we're working on that's going to bring us, into the future even more. So I'm excited about all of that.
Anything you want to tell us?
Maybe it has a little bit to do with AI. It might have a little bit to do with podcasting. We have things in the works. So
I love it.
we want to continue to grow our presence and, get information out to people. That's the important thing. Get information. When people are informed, they feel comfortable. When things start going, you know, one of the things in the market today, the inventory is extremely low. Interest rates are high. People need to feel calm about things to know that it's not always going to be this way. And if you can give them that information, it just brings a calmness over them.
Yeah, that's fabulous. Yeah. And, what I love also is the constant over the years trying new things.
Yeah.
I think lots of people, especially as we get older, are afraid.
Yeah.
And you
Agree.
can't be afraid. You got to step into this. You jumped in. And I think you're one of those great stories to, whether you
You.
didn't know how to do it, you knew how to make contact with someone that did and brought them on to help you grow the business. So
That would be my advice to people. If you don't know how to do something, find somebody who does. 'Cause at one point, I had my kids doing stuff for me. I'm like, here, I don't know how to work this phone. Can you do this for me? Figure it out. I don't know, but find people who can. And, you can't be good at everything or great at everything. You be good at a lot of things, but be great at what you're great at. And social media is not what I'm great at. So I hired people to help with that.
well, that's a great close to this because this whole theme is how we help good realtors become great, right? And that is exactly it, right? You're doing a lot of good things to become great. You got to keep trying new things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Michael, you have been a pleasure. And I thank you for, you know, taking the time to meet with me today.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kelly, and really appreciate it. And hopefully our audience will, get some good stuff out of what you've done.
Awesome. Reach out anytime.
Thanks again.
All right. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.